Hey guys, those of you who've been following my channels for any length of time will know that I don't engage in creator bashing. I just completely ignore the vast majority of what goes on YouTube between this creator who doesn't like this creator and this creator who's got this receipt against this creator. It's absolute nonsense. I'm not interested in any of that. If you're into the drama or the crama within the true crime community, have at it. It's just not my bag. All right. So this video is not that. Let me make that very, very clear. We're talking about Zavgirl's release of Gannon Stauch's autopsy photos. It's big news. Let's do this. Alright, so in the live stream that I did yesterday, I actually did two lives yesterday, one on this channel and one on my other channel, Michelle Walks. And right at the beginning of the stream on Michelle Walks, somebody asked me what my opinion was. Those of you who don't know, Gannon was murdered by his stepmother, Letitia Stauch. A couple of months ago, she was convicted of that murder. She's serving life without parole. Good riddance to Letitia. Gannon was only 11 years old. The release of these autopsy photos by Zavgirl, like I said in the intro, has created a furore. A lot of people talking, even Brian Entin, and even the prosecutor. Michael Allen, who prosecuted Letitia Stauch, has also weighed in. I was asked my opinion yesterday, so I said, if you want my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. My opinion then was exactly the same as it is today. There's two blameworthy components to this release. In my opinion, autopsy photos should never be released. I can't dictate, and I don't want to dictate, the laws in another country. I'm not American. I don't live in the United States. So for me to say autopsy photos should never be released and it should be law across the entire United States makes me feel a little bit like, dodgy. But no, in this instance, I'm going to say it should be illegal for autopsy photos to be released to the public because there's no possible benefit to them. Now, from what I understand, it's down to individual states to decide how much they release under the Freedom of Information Act. In my country, the Freedom of Information Act, probably under that law you get less in my country than you would in the United States, but it is a state-by-state basis. And Colorado, where Letitia was prosecuted, seemed to have quite a liberal interpretation of the Freedom of Information Act. And Zavgirl put in a Freedom of Information Act request for the materials related to the prosecution of Letitia. And over the last, I don't know, couple of weeks maybe, she's been doing videos that have been doing reasonably well. Some of them have been doing very well. Releasing things like phone calls, interviews, case file photos, interrogation. So none of this is a problem. Zavgirl paid, I've heard $400. I don't know whether that's true or not. But the fact that Zavgirl paid to have all this material and then put it on YouTube, not a problem. So a few days ago, the furore started when Zavgirl released Gannon Stauch's, age 11. In my opinion, the age doesn't matter. That's just my opinion. A lot of people are up in arms because this is a child. And I get it, you know, from an emotional standpoint, as a parent, as a grandparent, I feel that emotion as well. But looking at it from a more objective standpoint, does it really matter what age this person is? Isn't it the release of autopsy photos across the board that's the problem here? In my opinion, it is. Doesn't matter whether this person is 11 or 111. Surely in death, they should be afforded under law the respect and the privacy that they would be afforded in life. Anyway, Zavgirl did release the autopsy photos, and she apparently, I didn't see this, did a video commentating on those photos. Apparently Patreon took the entire account down. I can't find an account at all. This is Patreon. For those of you who don't know, Patreon is a pay site. So it's pretty much like YouTube. You can put videos on there, you can put posts on there, you can put pictures on there. But there's no account called Zavgirl. And what was said in my chat yesterday is that the entire Patreon was removed. So I think the account, Zavgirl's account, has been banned on Patreon. Twitter's been going up in arms about this. Not everybody. Some people are sticking up for Zavgirl. This person says, I'm only speaking for Zavgirl, no clue what Natasha Cooper did. No, I don't know what Natasha Cooper did either. This lynching is vile and totally unfounded. Zavgirl put a video that she made in Patreon. 10 to Life did exactly the same thing last year and no one said a word. I don't know. I can't comment on that. But Brian Entin got involved. So this is Brian Entin on News Nation last night with the prosecutor, Michael Allen. And the prosecutor is working with Gannon's family, who are understandably upset by this latest development. And the prosecutor said that he suggested that Gannon's family reach out to an attorney that specialises in privacy issues to see if anything can be done. But as far as he's aware, no laws have been broken. Like I said, there's blame that can be apportioned to the release of these photos from the county. Now, Michael Allen seems to believe that it was the state of Florida that released the autopsy photos. It's my understanding that Zavgirl got the entire bunch of documents, videos, photos from Colorado, because that's where the crime took place. So maybe Michael Allen needs to look into his own state a little bit deeper. I don't know. Like I said, I think it should be illegal across the board. Look, there's no possible benefit, in my opinion, to the release of autopsy photos into the public domain. Of course, for training purposes, for education, there's the absolute need to look at photos of the dead, to look at states of decomposition, to work with cadavers, you know, for the interests of training to be a forensic pathologist or a medic in general. Working with cadavers has got to be part of the training. You can't qualify as a forensic pathologist and have never worked with a cadaver and then just get thrown into the arena of working with cadavers. That doesn't make sense. But there's no possible scientific benefit or educational benefit in releasing autopsy photos to the untrained public, because it's a sideshow. It's people logging in for morbid curiosity and nothing more, because an untrained person can't discuss the nuances that you see in autopsy photos to other untrained people. There's no possible benefit to it. The same can't be said for autopsy reports. I think autopsy reports are very important if we want to really understand how someone died, why someone died, if it's a homicide, what the specifics were. And autopsy reports are specifically detailed that they go through organ system by organ system. They document each injury, each wound, with sizes, with body diagrams. All of that stuff is educational. When I can get my hands on an autopsy report, I benefit from it, personally benefit from it. Now, I did some biology classes in college, so I understand organ systems. I can talk through an autopsy report, and I do have a playlist on this channel with autopsy videos. My latest autopsy video that I did a couple of months ago is of Alex Cox, brother of Laurie Vallow. I've got Stephen Smith's, Eliza Fletcher, Serenity McKinney. The age, to me, doesn't matter. Brian Laundrie, Bella and Cece, the daughters of Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, Kylie Rodney. I actually did 3 on Kylie Rodney, 1 going through the autopsy report and then 2 explaining further details. Autopsy reports, to me, important. I can read an autopsy report and I can explain an autopsy report. I'm not a forensic pathologist. I've never worked in the medical field. I'm not a medical examiner. I'm trained in psychology, got a PhD in psychology. But because I've got an interest and I've I'm partly self-taught and I did some classes in biology. I can talk with some unofficial authority through an autopsy report. But autopsy photos, any possible educational benefit of releasing autopsy photos to the public is far outweighed by the loss of dignity to that person who has died and their family. Let them rest in death. So for me, the release of the autopsy photos, there's got to be blame apportioned to the county that released them. The furore is against Zavgirl. And Zavgirl, looking on Social Blade, she has suffered because of this. Social Blade is a site where you can just look up any YouTuber, you can see how many views they get, how much they make. Just let me say that that figure is wholly inaccurate. It's always inaccurate. It's never been in the slightest bit on a monthly basis accurate to what I make, the little I make from my videos. But she has lost a couple of thousand subscribers in the last 4 days. So these are generally accurate to within a day or two. And so she was, on Saturday, she was sitting on 92.6 thousand subscribers. She's now down to 90.6 thousand subscribers. So she has suffered. Whether there will be a permanent suffering to her channel, I doubt it, because people have got short memories. People are claiming that she should lose her channel. She's not actually done anything wrong on YouTube, honestly. So YouTube aren't going to delete her channel because she didn't put it on YouTube. She put it on Patreon. And Patreon have, seemingly, removed the account. So Patreon have acted. But look, I don't agree with what Zavgirl did. I really don't. I don't think there's any benefit to it. But equal blame should be given to the county that released those photos. I do hope that this is considered at the highest levels now, state by state, as to whether it's right to release autopsy photos to the public. Zavgirl has commented on the rationale and the reasons why she released them. There's a really poignant statement here by Stauch, who's Gannon's dad. There are those that have found a way to further the evils committed against Gannon. But goodness and love will prevail. For every hint of evil concocted, a preponderance of kindness outshines the darkness of those that would deepen our pain. I find it so sad that the parents of Gannon, who lost his life in the most horrendous way, have had to speak out against this. I hope Zavgirl's learned a lesson. I hope that YouTubers generally are more careful and more considered and more compassionate in what they release to the public in future, even if under a freedom of information request you get things like autopsy photos. Please search your own ethics, your own morality, and ask yourself, do I really need to make money off this information? If you want it for yourself, great, but do the public really need to see this? Search your soul. And I think if you truly did, the answer would be no. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Come on.